Everybody, welcome back to Karandrin Role Playing. I am your host and game master for the night, Cracked Palantir, or I'm also known as Kevin Manus Pennings. And welcome to episode 32 of Brise's Tale. As always, my good buddy Max is here to play the young, beautiful paladin Brise and say hello to these wonderful people. Max.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back from our Sunday session. Hope you're ready for some more role play here.
That's right. We have returned to something that I call it in my notes. I call it the Obelisk Manor. This is an abandoned manor on a mountain in the Goblin Nation of Nargaz, and we had some adventures here before. But time pressed upon us, or pressed upon Brise, and she was trying to get home, and that was a lengthy ordeal. Um, so and so you've now returned. It's fairly early morning on April 28th in the game, and looking to sort of explore this place. We know that it was a Goblin Manor, but originally it seems to have been built by an ancient race of humans that dominated this land. They use obelisks to record major events in their family history. And this manor has a huge central manor, some outbuildings, and then it has three guest manors, smaller guest manors on the edge of the bluff, sharing the view. And that seems to signify, we think, that they took in other houses, other royal or noble houses that were under threat, and formed an alliance and took them in. Is our sort of guess. It may be that these are all just very large guest houses. And when we say large, we mean bigger than a football field in terms of the size of each of these houses. We know also, just as a recap, we know also that the human race that lived here, they had a pantheon of four gods, three of whom are birds, one of whom is human, and we have found depictions of them in statues down slope of the bluff, and we also know that they use the magical robotic constructs apparently to guard their property.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Like that was, I don't know, 6-7 episodes ago, but that thing is still lurking around.
Yeah, it's
We'll be waiting.
A little injured, and that was an interesting battle. That was one of the more interesting battles too. Because you and I talked
elevation and everything.
Yeah. So
Quinn
hey Quinn, thanks for chiming in about hoping that
episode 100. Okay,
that's right. So at our present rate, in 2 more years, who knows what level you'll be. Oh, that's something that we should talk about. That we should talk about before the stream, Max. Is like maybe during the break we do your experience points.
Oh, good point. Yeah,
and then we can get that done, and
probably will. Yeah, probably will get a level.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's so we should do that. So of course we don't take up any unnecessary stream time, and that's always fun to go back and. For us guys, we go back and reuse his notes and my notes, and we revisit everything, and so we get to relive all the streams since his last. That's basically how we do it, and it's a lot of fun. So, oh no, Obi-Wan Karen's saying that Brise is already dead. Is she dead inside? Is that what you're saying, Obi-Wan? So last one we had a battle with these sort of half human, half maggot individuals, or an individual, And dear Lala got zapped. Well, Lala being the she's dead on the inside. So poor Lala is injured and is in a fragile state, and so that's something we have to deal with. Lala is, of course, Brise's familiar, and if you're familiar, the sixth Semiac. If your familiar dies, then it is a shock to the master's system, and you stay at a penalty for a very long time. So let's talk about what you want to do. It's early morning, as we've said.
Yeah. So I'm standing here basically with Lala in my hands, and I was thinking about this before the stream. I guess I have to make a decision of do I, well, I guess first, is it possible to heal her? Because I gotta keep her close by, within 300 feet. So what are my options here? I know, I have herbs and potion stuff. I don't know if maybe that'll just be a day and she'll be back on her feet, or I guess I don't really know. I don't know the expertise to ascertain that, right?
Right. And yeah,
it just looks really,
roll for me.
24. No, Quinn, Lala's not dead, but injured, very badly injured.
Yeah.
It can't really move too much, and definitely isn't in a state to fly long distances.
Yeah.
I do have dinner. Well, see, that was another thing. If my character feels okay with it, this might be the time to release my familiar, let it recover on its own. They are rings. It's a magic item I can detach.
Right.
At least I think I can detach.
Yes.
Look at that magic item.
Yes, you can. And just, you go back to that, week-long learning process.
That is true.
So roll for me. Let's see how attached you've become to Lala.
4.
That is really funny. Okay, so you're like, it's a bird.
I'm sure that is a pretty big bonus step, but I guess my thought process is I just, familiar is familiar. I know when I first got them, I was planning to try to move on to another.
Technically, it's an open-ended roll, so roll again and subtract it.
Oh, you're right. Good point. 65.
Yeah, it's it's a bird. It was there for your use, and so the question is, simply, do you want to go through that week-long process? Do you want to try to, of relearning a new familiar, or do you want to? That's hilarious. That's a South Park reference. Let it recover on rye bread with mayonnaise.
Well, I don't have any mayonnaise.
Oh, damn it.
That's the problem. I have plenty of whey bread.
That's right. Sorry, gang. I got allergies going on. So it really is up to you in terms of healing it. Herbs you're a little worried about because they've been tested for civilized races. You don't know what it's going to do to a bird or how to get the bird to take it unless it's an applied thing. Healing potion, maybe you could dab that on there. Again, it's formulated for the sentient races, the civilized races.
I'm thinking this might be like a chapter. It might be time to close the chapter on Lala and see if I can find another familiar at some point. Is my thought, because like you said, I'm not super concerned about her, and it's only, I would almost see this as an opportunity. It's like, well, poor creature, hopefully it'll recover on its own, but now it's time to move on to something else.
Roll for me.
Kind of my thought process.
Yeah, I'll give you one last consideration here. Roll
12.
Okay.
Nope.
I forgot what I rolled for that. Yeah. So the So yeah, whatever you want to do.
Well, I think, just being kind, kind-hearted person, try to like bring it to maybe like a source of water, or something, and then we'll just undo the rings and unbind the familiar, um, make it a wild bird again.
Okay. You could hike back to there's a stream back near where you camped.
Mm-hmm.
And you could put it, up high in the bushes there,
Yeah.
and that way it's got cover. And if it makes it down for water, then,
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Back on the camp.
So yeah, you make it down there. I should roll for activity for the police station.
I'm glad we don't have like a really big, like chat of like hundreds of people being like, "No, save Lala."
That would be so funny. We'll get to that point.
It is a little bit of a cruel decision, but that's what the dice said. And I'm like, well, that's my character.
That's right. You do have to play in character in this game. So so yeah, you make it there fine. You find the stream, and you find some nice high bushes for it, and you let it perch, and maybe you go ahead and give it some crumbs of whey bread in your hand, that kind of thing, and then
I am a cold bitch.
and you undo the little clasp, and there's sort of a moment of disorientation for you, and then you realize, oh, I'm really close to an injured songbird. I don't want to startle it, so you back way off, and it's obviously got a moment of disorientation, and the ring grows again to a normal size ring, and you
stick it back in my
yeah
pocket.
And
do I have like withdrawals or something? I'm like, oh, need that.
It is weird. It's like it's like your favorite show ending. It's that kind of feeling where you're so used to that input, and being familiar with that input, and now it's gone. And so there you go. So Lala is released back into the wild to fend for itself. I can cross dear Lala off my little set of notes over here. And
yeah, we can forget about that. I'm so bad with that sometimes.
And now now you can name your next animal Lala. Like, because every animal becomes Lala that you attach it to.
Yeah. Or Lao B and then Lao C.
That's right. So yeah.
Lao 2.0. All right. Okay. Well, after that, I think we're ready to wait, let me see I'm at 62 exhaustion. Yeah, I forgot. Did some teleporting. I think we're ready to explore the manor then is my next objective here. Well, I guess I also want to make sure I meant to teleport into the campsite, and kind of scope out the area for any of the priest birds, because they were possibly going to be around here at this time. But
right.
So I might do a 10-minute search around,
Yeah, so head that way and see if the priest birds are there with news of. Let me find my notes on them.
Again, can't escape birds, can I?
Only weirdly, like with aerial cover, can you escape them, right? As long as you're weirdly, if you're in a forest, then they can't really spot you unless they immediately,
I just meant my character, like my familiar is a bird, like I'm interacting with the eagles are talking to me. It's like Brise of birds.
Yeah, you make it to the campsite, and you kind of stand there like, just kind of hang out a little bit. You could actually use this time to try to recover some of your exhaustion.
Oh, true, actually, yeah.
So you're like, I'll just take a nap, or do you want to read or something?
Yeah. We can just sit down, do some reading, and read my tome, and see if we can rest up a bit.
All right. Yeah, you give a couple of hours reading to your tome.
It's like reading the tome. Oh, that's funny. Hey, Lala. Oh.
So you recover. You recover half, so you're at 81 exhaustion.
Cool.
Now, but you get a couple hours of reading done, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Bumping that number up, especially if you're going to go up a level here. I hate to play meta, but
I don't really feel like reading a whole lot.
So
you said 2 hours?
Yeah. So I've got you at 6.5. Is that what you've got?
I don't keep track of it cumulatively.
No, good. Don't worry about it. I've got it cumulatively. So
I have 14 hours.
I saw 48 hours on 6 different tomes.
Reading. Exactly.
So,
Tome master. But remember, I'm also using my spectacles. That bookmark too.
Oh, nice.
It gives me bonus points to learning.
Yeah.
Or gaining the rank.
Yes.
Nice.
So toward the end of your reading, so it's mid-morning now.
Okay.
A beautiful green light shines upon the pages of your book.
Ooh.
And the green portal of the flower people open before you. And it's and one of the tiny winged deer of the Trinidos sort of float through the portal, and the portal closes in its sort of silent grace. Daughter of humans, you are well, says the great musical voice of the Trinidos. That great choral multi-voice that they use.
Mm-hmm.
You seem well.
I am. I think good things have been happening.
Tell us.
So I think the last time I saw them was before I was even in town again. I was in the valley. So I will tell them about visitation by the great eagles is the main thing. And so just mention that the eagles have caught wind that the priest birds are searching for Kralum, and they are already trying to now try to free Kralum as well with their massive boulders to break the chains that bind him. So I think that's everything. Yeah. I still have it. I mean, I would also mention I haven't seen Verilag quite a number of days.
We would take that as good news, that she is not so worried about you or mistrustful of you that she must check in. And, gauge your loyalty to her.
For a surprise or what?
The loose alliance that is formed in the Vetch seems to be holding. And at least on the side of the Philistan, it seems to be improving. Those undead peoples have seemed to be resigned to the deal and take it as a good thing. There is also seemingly a greater effort among them, among those who have the arts, to research anything dealing with runes, dealing with demons. And so they are now redoubling their efforts to go through their own ancient ruins and libraries to scour any remaining lore about runes that could have any bearing on demons.
Right. Wait, the language they're saying, the alliance they mentioned is the peace. The Philistan are still
right.
Yeah, they're still allied to the what was his name?
Overdraw.
Overdraw, yeah, halfling.
Make sure I have that right.
Who's trying to keep the peace in the Vetch. So I guess that's the alliance they're referring to. Yeah.
Right.
This undead race of Philistine from just going crazy.
Right.
Exacting revenge.
Overdal.
Okay. It's a tough name to say.
Yeah.
And remember, yeah.
There have unfortunately been some run-ins between the Philistine and humans. As the Philistine need to travel more, seeking out their ancient homes. There have been some encounters, but the Philistine have restrained their rage and simply frightened off the, what human, elf, or dwarf might be traveling in the area.
That's a funny. I don't mean to detract or anything, but like when you say human, elf, or dwarf, like how do you call like sentient races, right?
It is weird, right?
I know with my own books.
Yeah, like I know it in Karandrin, as in the place, as a place.
Yes.
You have sort of your classic fantasy races that we generally think of, elf, human, dwarf, regardless of how many cultures there are. Like they refer to the other ones that, like for instance, the Palladium games, they call them monster races, goblins and orcs and all that.
Yeah.
They call them the dark races, not referring to skin tone, but referring to what they see as moral character. And so, but how do you refer to all of them? Like, how would you refer to all, civilized people?
It's like a close word, but it's not.
Right.
It doesn't really encompass what you want.
Right.
And sentient is just too cumbersome to use all the time.
Right. And I've been struggling to come up with a term that would be used in the opposite direction. What do the dark races call, these outsiders who disagree with the way they live their life?
Yeah. That's true. It's like, we're the dark race. No, you're the dark race. What are you talking about?
Because the goblins, 350 years ago, they sort of came out of nowhere and then they fought the elves and so on. But now there's been peace and so on. But sort of the notion that, these animosities last centuries and centuries and centuries is very unrealistic. We were trading partners with Germany 30 years after, after a rather horrific war and quite a few atrocities. And so almost every elven city now has an area called a dark quarter. And that's where basically the goblins live. It's basically a ghetto in the sociological sense of a ghetto, which is an area of ethnic identity, not an area of poverty.
Quinn suggests calling all the non-orcs and goblins liberals, so I like that thing. And to them, we're just libs.
It's so funny.
Libs.
Oh yeah, I see. Quinn's got the same about libs, snowflakes, lunch. That's funny.
Anyway, what were we rolling again? You're rolling the Trinidas. Speaking to me about the
right. So anyway, so that seems to that union, that loose alliance seems to be holding.
Right.
Although unsurprisingly, they tell you, there is secret talk among the Philistine that, of course, as soon as the alliance is no longer needed, Avradal can be disposed of however they see fit.
Right.
But that's not surprising. That's not surprising to them, to the Trinidas, and they say Avradal's guards already talk openly of, we are waiting for the day that they betray us.
Oh yeah.
So kind of interesting. So But certainly there is hope on the Trinidos's part that they'll find something they can present to Averdal that will
Mhm.
help. The question becomes, of course, how then do we connect that information to you? How would that information be conveyed to you?
Sorry, I spaced out. If they find something,
So the Philistine find information useful in your main objective here. I
yeah.
hate the word quest. I can't tell you how much I hate the word quest. I mean, it's just something you want to get done, right?
Mhm.
That's
How do
extremely
we
important.
extricate that information from them?
Right, exactly. And
Can someone
so
have a counter for extricate? Can someone like keeping track of how many times I say that?
that's I can't wait to get like a fancier like layout and everything, when we get more donors coming in or what have you. Oh, sorry, I hit my mic. But and then like we'll have like ridiculous little counters like that. And
Yeah.
you know, um how many times extricate is used, how many times I scat boo 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 bow to bow. And and we just have these rolling tickers. We'll get some moderators in
Just
charge
fill
of
up the bottom of the screen. Yeah.
exactly. How many times can we get um how many times can we get we'll have donors, right? Like people donate while we're streaming,
Mhm.
and they pay you to say quest, and then they've got a ticker up there for me to say how many times, to say how many times I say, God, I hate the word quest.
Yeah, I don't know how many Twitch streams you watch, but there are a lot of those, and they're very effective. Some of them are like really positive, like, oh, take a hydration break. Someone can pay like $1 to do that, and some of
Oh,
them are, yeah,
right.
pay $10 to scan. For like 2 minutes, nonsense like that. So
Uh, that would be, and they mean actually just leave the stream. They don't mean for me to sing. They just mean
pay,
go.
you're pay. There should just be one pay $1,000 just to kill Brise. Someone wants to donate $1,000. We'll end it
Quinn,
right here and now. No more suffering.
Quinn, would that be the Order 66? Is that what it is from Star Wars?
$6,600.
That's right.
That's
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
so I
really
do have it
funny.
written down here that we did brought that up before. If they do come across any information to Philistine, then we need a safe way to obtain that. And I know I shouldn't be the one to retrieve that. Um, might have to be through Averdal or through the Trinidas,
Right.
or means they could obtain that information from. I mean, if they find books of importance, then maybe those books can get like copied or bring them over here. You don't have to like speak with the Philistine themselves.
Right. I
So
mean, you at least have a noble, right? Uh, where you can say, take it to Lady Meagraw's keep. Just send this information to Lady
yeah,
Meagraw's keep,
yeah,
and maybe that is the most care of Adabir, and so maybe that's just what you leave the Trinidos with. Is that if they do come
okay,
up with anything,
okay,
then maybe it'll be time to expose themselves to Averdal and
yeah, and have him be the liaison there. Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
the Trinidos refuse. They say that they're unwilling. Wait, did they communicate with Averdal before? I can't remember. I think they did.
Well, I think so, because how else would they convey the problem of the Philistine and the vetch?
Right. So that must be all right. So in that case, I have to give them a bonus to that roll.
Mhm.
So begrudgingly, they're clearly reluctant to have more one-on-one contact,
Right.
but very reluctantly. Um, so
Fine. It's like little like fey creatures, like two. Need to write this down. I persuade the
sure.
Trinidas to have Arvidal relay any information to here in Mural Keep. All right.
All right. So, is there anything else you need to tell them?
I mean, do they have an opinion on the Great Eagles or no? Just curious. Actually, I might ask them about the Great Eagles. How much do they know about them?
You haven't. With rare exception, they tell you the Great Eagles have always been a tremendous source of good throughout Karandrin. There have been exceptions in the past. There's a group to the south that have gone their own way and are much more self-serving. And they've been long friends to the Trinidos when the Trinidos were more widespread. So they are glad of the news. They have not spoken to an eagle in before the goblins came.
Oh my God.
Although occasionally they do see them in the vetch, and they believe there is a group that must be living in the vetch.
They're waiting for the Eagles to talk to them. I know how it works.
It's a 3-day rule.
Okay.
Like you don't want to seem too eager. You got to wait 4 or 5 centuries.
I think in another 50 years we'll be ready to.
That's right. That's right. You don't want to rush into these things.
Oh, it's funny.
And the Eagles in their defense, the Eagles are like, I don't know if the Trinidos are really interested. They kind of seem fey, and so I'm not sure. Anyway,
boo.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, as Seinfeld would say.
It's a great line. Not that there's
exactly.
Way they deliver it.
No, of course not. It's, the gay men are very neat. Do you remember that? The whole bit. He's like, yeah. The symbol
that's one of those episodes that ages so well because it's like it's in that time,
Right. So they're pleased to hear that the Great Eagles are working toward helping you solve the problem of the great and horrible Verilag, who may rise again in power and come to threaten the entire region.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's all I have for them. So,
you did meet Shalto. I don't think there's anything to ask there. So, all right. So,
and then I guess they'll just again appear when they have more information.
Yes. They will arrive with updates as they can, and
just like Windows.
Exactly.
Worst possible time.
That's right. That's right. So they wish you well, and they the flower people. He reign 1,000 years, says
I don't know,
Quinn.
man. If you look at the last 10 things, it's all Quinn talking. I think Quinn needs to take a break from the keyboard. He's literally spamming the chat now.
Oh, may he reign. Well, may she reign 1,000 years, I think, is what he was aiming for. But that's fine, Quinn. You keep rooting for Verilag, and and
that explains a lot of things about Quinn, actually.
Yeah.
Supporter of Verilag, #1 fan.
That's right.
Oh my god.
So, all right. So, the flower people, they open the great green portal of their realm. The
Mhm.
Trinidos alight onto the flower person, and it drifts through the portal and it closes in green silence. Um, you're as rested as you're going to be without taking a nap. And so, um,
Yeah, I think so. Stretch my legs, gather my stuff, and we'll take
off
off to this
you
manor.
go. What's your state of readiness?
I am gonna have my so I need to remember before I do that. Let me. I know I talked about this before about having like kind of where my weapons are. So I have my very good flail, but unfortunately flails are a bit noisy. So do I still have my? I had a sack of muffling that I used to use. Okay, I do still have that, right? So I have my flail in the sack of muffling, that in like my backpack. So in case I need it, but I'm gonna have my spear and my shield then. That's my
Okay.
main weapons out right now. So.
So you make it back to the manor without any difficulty or disturbance. And you approach from the outbuildings side. Um,
Trying to be like what's the board game where you like there's shadows over Camelot, like one imposter and like who's
the Shadows
supporting
over
the evil.
Camelot doesn't have an imposter in it.
No, a person supporting the evil side.
Well, whenever a knight rests in Shadows over Camelot, evil grows. That's how it works.
Right, but you can also play with there's one person who's supporting the evil side, so they're
Oh, I
trying
didn't know that.
they're trying to do stuff like, oh, we should take a rest, guys. Like, oh, I think it's optional, but it's a lot of people play with it.
I see.
As like Quinn right now, he's like, yeah, fellow heroes, let's save the day. You can like take quests that you're gonna fail. So when you fail the quest, then evil grows.
Interesting. I just told a friend about that game. That's the first cooperative game I ever played.
Yeah,
with Shadows over Camelot.
It's a great
Yeah,
one.
I really like that. Okay, so you make it back. You've approached. You're now, on the edge of the grounds. Hello, computer. What is going on? Did I close that? Okay, let me open up the. So yeah, so you're you're approaching from the stables and the various obelisks that are out. Where do you want to approach?
I think I'd probably just want to scope out the perimeter to see if I was about to say send Lala up to go look in the windows. I'll just scope the perimeter and see, kind of ascertain what the entrances are, if there are any locks on any of the doors, if there's any broken windows or anything. Like, so I'll just do that first.
I'm sorry, which building?
The big manor.
Okay, the main manor.
Circling around that, locate like points of entry, and kind of if there's anything I can see through the windows, or if I see some like monster crawling through there, I'm like, maybe another day.
You know what? Apparently, I did not save our last. How did that happen? How did I not save it?
Oh, you mean our
Yeah, so I lost the shoot. I lost the trees and I lost the maggot paths.
Well, if you want, you can always pull up the old stream and then just kind of.
That's true. Pause it
to duplicate it, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll have to do that afterwards. Anything change in here? No. So you're approaching the back of the manor.
Mm-hmm.
Two doors in the back. They have both been beaten in. Oh, what I should do is I should just copy this whole layer is what I probably should do. No, I don't need to do that. I could. So, yeah, they're. I mean, let's get the number on this thing. Yeah, this is a really large building. So it's about 120 feet. No, it's more than that.
Yeah, it was pretty big, if I recall. There's a big courtyard, I think.
Yeah, I'm not doing my math right. Is the problem?
Mm.
Yeah, it's about 200 feet wide.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, it is.
It's a chonker for sure.
It is. Yeah, it's really large. Um, so there are 2 doors you can see as you approach. They've been beaten in for quite a while. The the leaves and grass have blown in, and they're set sort of evenly spaced, but they're probably 150 feet apart.
Yeah.
So your guess is, I mean, as you approach, and you're still like 100 feet away, I'm not having you charge up there. Roll for me. Let's do a perception roll. See how much
6.
information. 6. That's fantastic. Um, there is
nothing.
There's a pile of rubbish at the left door.
Mm-hmm.
And covered in, I mean, vines have grown over it and everything. I got to turn on. Where's that layer? Oh, interesting. Okay, weird. Huh. Oh well. So I'm missing all my symbols. That's so weird. How could I be missing my symbols? I must not have copied them over from my template. But so yeah, the left door has a pile of rubbish by it. The right door just has grass and stuff and plants that have grown in on the mulch that is blown into the door, but clearly since it's been abandoned, it wasn't. They didn't set guards on it, or at least those guards are no longer relevant. So, what would you like to do?
I'll get closer. Like you said, just investigate the 2 doors.
Roll again.
10. Sorry, 100.
No, that's terrific. That's great.
Not doing too well today.
So, yeah, I mean, there's windows all over the place. There is that heap seems to be a body.
Ooh.
I'll
approach that carefully.
How far do you want to get?
50 feet.
Roll for me.
53. Getting better.
That is a stationary, sort of collapsed looking. I don't want to, fill your head with incorrect information or uncertain information, but it is clearly one of the constructs.
Oh. I'll start creeping towards it. What kind of like poses it is? Is it like prostrate, or is it like
though
collapsed?
I mean, the bottom half of it is largely covered in leaves that have gathered around it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got things growing out of, those leaf piles now.
Oh yeah.
And vines are growing around it. Above that, there's climbers and creepers that are up on it. And so, I mean, what occurs to you is, if you really want to know the functionality of this thing, the thing would be to hit it with something.
Yeah.
Right. And just, clank, throw a rock or something.
Yeah.
And
okay. But I'll do that. Yeah. Pick up a pebble and chuck it.
Roll.
89.
Bonk. Right in the chest. It does not move.
Okay. Then I'll walk up to it and do a little bit of investigating.
Okay.
Maybe learn a thing or two.
About time. Honestly, about time. Give me just a minute. I'm going to have all these symbols that I, keep in my templates, and I'm going to drop those.
Do you want to, are you going to share the screen, or are you just doing it?
No, because you don't have an understanding of the interior. And so I can't really show you.
You're building stuff just for your own reference. Gotcha. Just making
sure. Even if the interior, right, I need to mark it for my own reference. And
you see, I work in a job where half the time, like what we say in meetings is, "Oh, you're not sharing your screen. Did you forget to share your screen?"
Oh, right.
It's just muscle memory for me.
No, and trust me, if you've not learned anything about me yet, boy, I really should ask Kevin about that, because I'm so bad.
Yeah.
I'm so forgetful about my entire existence that, I'm just terrible at it. All right, great. There we go. I meant to have a symbol for a destroyed door, and I don't have that yet. So, oh man. So, that's interesting, I guess. Copies everywhere. That's going to be confusing. All right. So, yeah, the left door has what appears to be a relatively inactive construct. What would you like to do?
I want to go up and explore this construct. Just try to, I want to see if it's kind of as similar as the other one. Does its body rust? I'm just curious about it as like a person interested in creatures.
Yeah.
Even like tear a piece off of it, see what's inside. Just kind of take some time to explore.
So yeah, you sort of glimpse inside. You glimpse inside the windows that you can see clearly. The back room is a massive kitchen. It's got vines over some of the windows, but you can see multiple hearths, And you can see multiple chimneys coming up the back. The chimneys, of course, make you think about whether or not, or to what degree, the goblins have modified this building to suit their own purposes. Like,
Right.
they tend to use the communal. They tend to use communal rooms,
Yeah.
and oh, that is not working. Interesting. That is a pain in the ass. I don't know what we're going to do about that. So the yeah, so you don't know to what degree a chimney is really going to represent anything, because they tend to knock down walls and make large communal rooms with a
Mhm.
central fire.
Mhm.
And so, did they do that back then? Those are sort of the questions that you've got going on. Um, so, oh, I know what I'm doing wrong.
It's just like information, and then you like struggle with something off screen, and then more information.
That's right. It gives you a chance to write things down. I think you know the deal.
Mhm.
Um, so, what? I'm so confused about what's going on. So you glance in the hall, down the hall, to make sure you're not going to get surprised by anything,
Yeah. Good point.
and it's a long hallway, that, I mean, disappears into darkness, um, and the um, lots of leaves have blown in and so on. Um, Although there is evidence that they have been disturbed, but
Mhm.
that really can't surprise you. I mean, who knows how many wild animals have trekked through here in a
Yeah.
given week. But with it being open to the wild now, you know that it can be used as a lair by anyone.
Yeah.
Um, so, um, um, you so you go and you sort of dig around and sort of push off this mulch and what is largely now just soil gathered
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Um, Clearly bladed cuts used against to bring this thing down.
Okay.
Um, some definitely like sword thrusts, and longer slash marks. Some look like axe blows, just heavy and very deep. Um, and it's like looking inside of a clock,
Mm.
but strangely not as complex as you expected. Um, so gears and that sort of thing, yes, um, but there's just not as much of it as you expected.
Yeah. To something with such fine motor controls. Yeah.
Right. It has the same. Um, oh, and it's also female. It's been given a female form,
I see.
just like the other one you fought.
That's right. The other one did have that, yeah, feminine
It
feature.
also has a. It also has a the same emblem of this obelisk family, the bird
Yeah.
of this family.
Right.
For those of you who don't recall, this ancient Manish race uses birds apparently to as family symbols as well as to
Mhm.
represent their gods. Um, so, um, uh, weaponry seems very similar.
Mm.
Um, it has a scabbard. The saber that it uses is gone, but the left arm has that fascinating mechanism inside.
Yeah. Shot darts at me.
Yeah.
Or crossbow, right? And shot bolts.
Right. And so you do learn that it's got the mechanism inside the arm is clearly designed to hold 6 crossbow bolts.
Okay.
And there's just a powerful metal spring that allows them to fire. Roll for me.
12.
What's weird is that the spring seems overly powered. Like it seems way too powerful just to fire this. Is there something else, it was supposed to do maybe? So,
interesting. How's the the metal body? Can I bend like a piece of it and like try to rip it off, or is it pretty sturdy, like bolted on there?
There are, because of the blows, you think there are parts you could tear off.
Yeah.
So choose a specific point so that I can roll for it.
Which one looks the easiest? You know what I mean? Are there any spots, like, I guess, where there's like a piece already peeling off, then I can kind of pull out that, or I guess you just say the chest, if you want to do that area.
Several blows to the abdomen have loosened the plate of its abdomen.
Okay, yeah.
And you hadn't really explored the area because you couldn't think of really what the interest in the stomach. But like you touch it, it falls softly into the mulch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so is it like a metal then? I mean, it's
absolutely, yeah. It's
bronze, if it would be a magical metal or something, yeah. Then again, I don't know. I do like sculpture, right? So I might know it like maybe a tiny bit. Is it like the same type of metal you'd make a statue out of?
It's certainly similar, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And like you think, well, I'll try to attune to it, and there is no the quality of the metal itself. When you touch a sword that is +10 magic,
right,
any dumbass warrior will know that.
Yeah.
So, so the so here you touch it, you don't get anything. You attune to it. There's nothing for you to reach to, but there is kind of a magical buzz from it.
Okay. Like that, a magical buzz about it. Radioactive.
That's right.
That's all magic is. Cool. Okay.
That's right. All magic is just radiation.
It's just radiation. Any other questions I might have? So I think because my encounter with the other thing, like the way it attacked, it's good to know that like normal blows can cut through this metal. I guess
right.
Using special weapons, but I also have really good weapons. So
right.
It's good to know.
It does reveal more gears inside when you remove the plate, as well as a metal box with gold rivets, sort of in the top part of the, the bottom of the box would be well above the belly button, where you would think the belly button should go.
So can I reach for the box?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's...
And can I extricate from the body?
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, I'll try to yank that out of there. See what it is.
It's like what we'll do, talking about like this future where we're going to have people watching the stream and keeping tickers on us. It's going to be like they're going to it's going to be people pay you not to say extricate for 10 minutes.
There's a chest with stuff in it. Oh, can't say it. Can't say it.
They pay you money to give up obvious treasure or obvious advantages.
Oh my god! Maybe $10 to like. You know what? I don't think I would. I need everything I can get in this game. Oh my gosh! Oh wow.
So, yeah, it's it's in there. I mean, moving it with all your might moves the whole torso without its might. You actually stop because it's sort of causing things to bang against the and you're like, I don't want that.
Thanks, Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, I will let you do the math on that.
$10 for what? Oh, it's already sent. Okay, got to send another $10 and say what you're going to do next.
Right. Tenmo is the Venmo access fee for him to open his Venmo app.
Yeah, exactly. Warm me up, grease my palm.
Grease my palm.
Okay. I think I want to. So if I can't really take anything,
well, you've got the belly plate.
Oh, that's true. I will. I think salvage that, and I do want to pull out a page of my journal and take some notes on this thing. Maybe do a quick sketch of like the emblem and note the things I have here about it.
Right.
And maybe I'll go show it to someone in town or somewhere else to learn more about it. So that we could say I have my notebook out while I'm looking at it, but I'll just say
sure.
Write that down here.
Do some sketches of it and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do you think this would be a good place to take a break?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sneezed. Oh, okay.
Okay. There.
So, all right. So we're gonna take a quick break and grab some beverages and so on. We hope you guys will do the same, and we will be right back after the single message that says taking a break, and it'll just float there. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back. Hello, gang. We are back. Thanks for hanging with us through the break. And we're gonna keep on exploring.
Keep on
This.
trucking.
That's right. This beat down construct that was slain by someone. Oh, you know what? Roll for me. It occurs to me there's another conclusion to be drawn.
26.
I think it's evident enough, even with that low of a roll. This wasn't single combat here.
Oh yeah, I was thinking if it's different types of weapons, you've got
right.
Or just one guy who's like really good, like
right.
sword and an axe.
The idea that the doors were beaten in and with weapons suggests that either we're talking about bandits or perhaps desperate settlers who stayed here. Although it depends on if that axe was a battle axe or just a wood axe. You know what I mean? You've done sketches, and of course, there's a lot to sketch because this is a lot of material. So, to what degree do you want to?
Well, let's sketch that, like the golden box. That seems kind of an point of interest.
Okay. It's a metal box. The rivets are gold.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the metal box with gold rivets. Yeah. So we'll do a sketch of that, and we'll do a sketch of the just a rough sketch of the whole body. And kind of like try to get the form, of it, and then of some of like maybe the insides, just like like there's all sorts of mechanisms, like you said, just try to sketch what they look like at a glance, so to show its complexity.
So it well, you know what, just have you roll for me.
92.
Before you know it, it's noon. You've been sitting there sketching, and like there's so much, right? And you're like, I've got this interior. There's a parts of the neck here that I could do where it took some
normally blows. Like I'll start like sketching something and be like, oh wow.
Yeah. That's what whenever I'm headache free, that's how I am creatively. Is that I'll just work and work and work and work. When I finished my novel, I wrote 28 pages in I don't know, like 9 hours or something like that, and it was like 6 in the morning, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And so
and they're good pages too, like when you have that flow going. It's all good. So
it may have holes, but what is there is good. All right. So so you get that sketched. I guess you want to probably get out of the doorway and maybe just lean up and take a meal and keep your eyes open. Fortunately, when you're seated, it's really hard to see you because the grass here is,
oh yeah, that's right,
really tall. I mean, it's you seated. I mean, it's over your head, the grass here. So race a meal and so you finish up. It's now early afternoon. What would you like to do?
So let's scan the perimeter of the whole manor then, and
you want to sort of walk it,
peek inside the windows, see what I can see without going inside, basically.
Okay, I'm going to open my thing so I can place notes on there. So a lot of the rooms are just empty. I'm going to have you go down the side away from the bluff. So I'm going to have you go down the left side of it as you're facing now.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell like what the real intent is for these rooms without any furniture. Although you do find the presence you do start coming across some that have beds in them. And that becomes more and more common as you move away from the door. A lot of the beds have had their bedpost hacked off.
Oh yeah.
And the assumption is, of course, that they were probably adorned with stuff, and now that that's been, those have been stolen.
Extricated.
Yeah.
I was going to say ransacked. I'm like, there's a better word. Okay.
As you come halfway up, about a third of the way up, you see light through a window, and that light is clearly coming from inside, not outside. So you realize, oh, I saw that spot of light down the hall as I was sketching.
Yeah.
And I just assumed it was light spilling from one of the outer windows across the hall.
Fair enough.
But no, as you're looking in the window now, you can see that that light falls, sure, into the doorway somewhat, but there is an oranger light coming from the room across the hall from it. And that door has been, the door across the hall has been burned down. There's scorching also on the walls here and there. And the light is now coming from below and is moving at a leisurely pace. It reminds you of someone sort of like having a conversation holding a candle, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, just their natural body movements, just make it move. And maybe they turn to talk someone, and now the light shifts a little bit. So there's nothing hurried about it.
Interesting. Well, we will have to investigate that. I mean, that's all I can see, right? Unless I actually go in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to stop at this point and go into that bedroom, pry the window.
No, I kind of want to keep going and get the whole.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll resist the urge to explore for now.
Yeah.
I think that'll be the first thing I do look at.
Sure. You come now to larger rooms. Fewer windows. It is a library, clearly. No books.
Well, it's not a library, is it, Kevin?
Okay, it's a shelf storage room.
Thank you. That's
Um,
curious. Like every book has been removed. I guess, like
although,
the family could have moved out and taken all of it with them.
right, and
Mm.
upon these estates do get sold, of course,
Right.
and so it could have changed hands, and then some financial catastrophe befalls the person, and they never really claim the property or move in fully.
Right.
And of course, some things are just left behind. We all have priorities, right? I actually met a woman at a book show when I was working for the publishing house. And she said when she moved to the American South, she was moving from California and she could choose to take all of her books or all of her furniture because that's what she could afford to move with the truck
No.
size. And
Wow.
she goes, it wasn't a difficult decision. She took all of her books.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I feel you. That's exactly what I would do.
Yeah. No, honestly, that's probably more valuable, all the books. Both monetarily and just personally. Yeah.
Right. It's a large room with well, it baffles you initially. There are sort of iron rings, not iron rings. Iron rings set into the hoops, really, set upright into the floor. There's iron stakes in another part of the room, and it's a rather large room, much larger than the bedrooms, which themselves were spacious. And you're sort of baffled until you realize you see a dartboard on the
Oh,
wall, and you're like, "This is some sort of games room."
it's like horseshoes. Yeah.
Um, um,
Mm.
and this is almost to the corner of
Okay.
the first. You're almost done with the first side of the left side of it, and then in the corner is a massive empty room um, with massive murals. Um, and it's a multi-floored room. It's at least takes up 2 levels or more. Um, and it is clearly a ballroom. Maybe generally a conservatory. Like it's clearly for performances. You've
Right.
seen rooms like this before. Now, interestingly, as you look through, the murals are they have left some of the original murals up. And what it shows is a um, it shows a war scene in which a female commander is leading an army carrying a banner and fighting what are clearly in a setting that is clearly the desert lands to the east.
Right.
And that army is shown sort of to be cowardly. Of course, they're darker skinned from the sun, but their banner, where you can see it, is that of the sun.
Oh.
It is a sun with crossed spears. The ceiling has a mural. Um, and it shows the eagle very much characterized as you've seen it in the religious statues. And it is slaying a massive serpent. And here, for the first time, you see the Iron Empress, definitively Iron Empress. She is depicted as half woman, half snake, and she is cowering as she watches her great serpent be slain.
Yeah.
Now, so the farm mural, so there's the massive battle mural, is, as you're looking in the window, it's to the left, it's on the left wall. The ceiling mural is obviously on the ceiling. The mural directly across from you, so directly in front of you, has clearly been redone, and it depicts religious scenery from your own people.
Oh, okay.
And I need to call up that document.
That's really interesting. Like the cultural, those are from like thousands of years ago, but this one's probably more modern. It's been
right
culturally.
No, that's the wrong thing. Although I'll leave that open. There it is. That's what I need. So, this is a depiction of one of the many stories in which Astalin, the queen of the gods, goes to seek advice from Mother Teague. Roll for me.
100.
And definitively, because Astalin is resting her hand on a fawn that stands beside her. This is the story of the rescue of Havilan, at the very beginning of the story of the rescue of Havilan, where Havilan is captured by the Troll King, and Astalin goes to Mother Teague, who is, if you recall, she's an elderly goblin god. She's the goddess of prophecy, time, and fire. She's, here she's, she's always an older one, very big belly.
Yeah.
And she stands over a great fire. And so Aslan comes to her to find out where the Troll King is hiding, for Mother Teague to use her ability to see prophecy and to see things that are hidden.
Right.
To find Havilan so the gods can rescue him. Sorry.
Right.
Havilan being the depicted elven, but he's part of the pantheon, the god of nature and forest. And the fawn is sort of considered sort of one of his children, is the idea. So it's sort of a plea for mercy that Aslan is asking Mother Teague to use her abilities. And it's a story very well, because you've always
liked, yeah, of course.
You like the goblins, and you like it when they're depicted as kind, because you have found them. They're very spiteful people, but if they like you, they really like you.
Yeah, they're good company.
Yeah, and so you're like, you guys have just pissed them off too much. Quit pissing them off and make amends, and they're great friends. And so you like the story, and so it's one that you've read over and over again, in different versions and so on.
It's pretty cool to see it like here. It must be like, whoa, it's kind of a cool.
And of course, the goblins have adopted all of these gods.
Yeah.
and you'll find, like, you can find a depiction of Havilan, for instance, as a goblin.
Yeah.
You can find Astalin as depicted as a god, because the belief is that the gods transcend race and they come to you in whatever form is best suited for the task.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then um, the mural on the right is a scene you're not familiar with, but it is goblin centric, and it is it shows three goblin rulers, two male, one female. I mean, they all have crowns, and two are seated at not on thrones, but on very ornate chairs at a very large table. One is standing. These are field chairs. These are chairs meant for parley in the outdoors.
Yeah.
And the other one is standing and speaking. There are onlookers of three different groups with three different banners.
Mm-hmm.
Some soldiers, but it doesn't look really martial. It's like that's just security, right? That's just their entourages.
Yeah.
And roll for me.
88.
In the back of one of the groups, there stands this very tall figure. I mean, if you figure the goblins are 5 and 5.5 feet tall,
Yeah.
this guy would be, or this individual would be closer to 7, dressed in a bright white fur cloak. He has a gray, furry face and these bright blue eyes that are made by the artist to really gleam.
Yeah.
And you've never seen or heard anything like that.
Wow. Interesting. Where was that? You said 3 goblin rulers, 2 are seated on ornate chairs. Where's the third one?
The third one is standing and speaking to them. They're in the foreground. All three of these figures are in the foreground, and and then their entourages are grouped around them. And clearly there's an effort by the artist to sort of color code dress with entourage, right? Mm-hmm. Like the figure, there's a figure in light blue. Oh, look, the group nearest him is all wearing light blue, or there's lots of light blues in that group. And then there's, it's a similar sort of thing for the others. It's red and a darker blue for the other ones. Not that that particularly matters. So it's a clear meeting of three groups. They do have symbology. And interestingly, they wear it on sort of a half shoulder cape. Not one that is intended to cover the whole back and both shoulders, but one that you wear off the shoulder. Yeah. And that's what it's intended to do. And it has been stiffened to hold an emblem such that the way the cloth naturally falls won't obscure the emblem.
Yeah.
And they each have these, and even though, of course, the two figures at the table, there's one that is facing you, but yet the artist has, kind of artificially pulled that half shoulder cape a little more to the front where the emblem is clear.
Yeah.
And you're like, I have never seen a goblin in my life wear anything like that.
Yeah. Interesting. Is that all from that painting then?
Yes, and so those are the 3 walls, and whatever's on, of course, your wall, you can't really see. And there
Right.
may be nothing,
Right.
there's probably a series of taller windows here, and so that's probably let
It's an
in the
arrow just pointing at the window that says like, what an idiot.
That's right.
He's
Big,
looking.
big dummy. I should probably send you this document so you can, because you would
Oh,
have all this knowledge.
yeah. Yeah, because I'm writing down generally where the rooms are, but it will be helpful to.
No, I mean for the gods.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Take it.
because I want you to, and I was thinking, in fact, I probably need to roll which god you're dedicated to.
It seems like a late thing to roll.
Well, it's because it took me forever to finally get all these gods done. I'm not going to lie.
This is true. This is true.
So now they're done. Don't beat me up. So, um,
I'm allied to the god of hatred and destruction. Oh, damn it.
well, and it's not as though you don't worship them all,
Of course.
but it's like
not a
when you
familiar-
you have a particular devotion to, usually decided by birth month. Although sometimes that can change if special circumstances allow. And it's so like if you were to slay something of particular great evil or threat to your gods, right,
Yeah.
or of offense to your gods, then your mind would go to this person first, right? Go to this deity first.
Right.
So I'll email it to you after stream. So
Yeah.
all right, so let's get back to get back. So that is one.
Back to the art gallery. All right, everybody, we're done with the paintings.
So you round the corner, and wait, how am I done my symbology? Wait a minute. Where is my inputs aren't. Okay, yeah. Where is that stuff then? Must be. Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, those are statues. All right. So you come around the corner quietly, and there
is our pen.
Oh, it's our pen. Our pen is.
You said come around the corner. Our pen just joins.
Hey, our pen. Welcome to the stream. We are back at the Obelisk Manor for those who have just joined us, and and he's now gone down the one whole side of the manor very quietly, and has just been looking in windows and getting a sense of things. Mostly bedrooms is what he's found. He's just got done with a massive ballroom with its murals. So if you note the time, RPin, of the stream right now, you can go back about 10 minutes and you get a lot of interesting information that he just got off the murals off this ballroom. As you round the corner, then you come to two obelisks standing right in front of the building, maybe separated by about 15, 20 feet. And then the building juts out from it. And you recall that from your battle with the hammerworm. And then when you traveled across down to the road, this is where the road leads, is to this entryway that must be some sort of large foyer or something like that.
Yeah.
So you have two obelisks, and then you can proceed however you wish.
I'm going to leave the obelisk for now and
Okay.
just kind of keep exploring. So keep sticking to the walls and following the building.
Okay, so the outcropping is this large foyer that juts from the building. There are no windows on its side. You swing around to the front, and there are two double doors. Well, there's double doors, heavy, very grand. A single step leads up to them, and they are closed. They carry an interesting mixture of the pantheons of your god, like depictions of them, symbols of them. Let's see what their favorites were. Go back to my list.
Now that you have your list of gods, you're like, oh, why don't we just throw some gods in there?
That's right.
That's fun once you have that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, most prominently depicted and in the highest positions are Valbrung, who is the goblin goddess of moon, healers, and poison.
Mm-hmm.
The moon is actually often referred to as Val's bowl. That is, they take it as her pestle, right, from mortar and pestle. Yeah. So mixing stuff up, and so, and then the other that they seem to favor is Moranon, dwarven female. She's the goddess of purity, truth, and faithfulness. Her symbol is the lantern, the dagger, and the horse. And here they show her holding the lantern. And then Astalon is pictured, being the queen of the gods. She's pictured pretty immediately. And then it goes down. But at the bottom are the 4 gods of the Obelisk people. They gave them their due in these doors that are clearly newer than the residents.
Right. Do the doors look like free of wear, or are they kind of, is there leaves and stuff built up around
them? They themselves are in excellent condition. They are crowded with leaves and vines.
Yeah.
But they've not been open some time, but they bear the weather well.
Yeah. Well, hunch there's some magical protection stuff going on here. I think I'll take the back entrance.
Well, it's possible.
I mean, remember I teleported and there was I got a hunch that something magically resisted me.
Right.
Too close. So
you wouldn't, forcing the doors, you would expect, you could give them a pull, and if they open, they open.
Kevin, I opened a treasure chest once in your game, and I was knocked out for a day. I'm not taking any chances with these doors.
All right, fine. Who's gonna Venmo Max some money?
Venmo. I'm going to go to town. I'm going to hire someone, teleport them here, and then ask them.
That's right.
Hey, Aldro, if you want to. Oh, open this door for me, you big strong man. Yeah, possibly do it.
The female wiles once again.
Oh my gosh,
being tripped in, and then you're on your knees for like the next session just to pay him for the terrible explosion he had to suffer through.
Gotta repay him somehow.
So that brings to mind another Family Guy joke, but I won't get that. So,
well, I'll keep, if there are no other details to note, I'll keep circling around and we'll go down the other side of the building.
Okay. So, around the corner, 2 more obelisks. So very symmetrical. Let me hop back to my map because I am making notes as we go. So there are windows here. And just at a glance, you can tell it's another ballroom.
Oh, wow.
Huge. So here you can see the that the what am I trying to say here? So on the you're looking at along the long axis of the building,
Yeah.
the wall that on its symmetrical side, the wall that you look through before that had more windows. There is no mural on this one, so you kind of go, "I bet there's no mural."
Oh yeah.
Um, on the other one
The
because the
other room
windows
too.
would
Yeah.
just disrupt it. But again, it's 2 or 3 stories high. Again, it's multiple murals. The one on the far side is one from the original inhabitants, or at least the earlier inhabitants, because it shows the gods of the obelisk people, the swan, the owl, and the eagle. No, sorry. Yes, the swan, the owl,
Yeah.
the
Right.
eagle. And um, they are in various ways constructing a maze. And you can see that that the maze that they have completed stretches well beyond sight. And um, and what's really strange is that they're depicted in the sky. There are 2 suns.
All right. Were there 2 suns in Karandrin 4,000 years ago?
I think we all know the answer that there were 8 suns.
If there
But
were 9, then the archer Yi would have shot them all down.
that's
Chinese
right.
mythology for you right there.
There you go. And so they are constructing the maze, which we've um, have you uncovered the meaning of the maze? I can't remember.
The maze is life,
Right.
right? And then like the worshippers of the Iron Empress, like she will break the maze, and kind of free them from it.
Right. Right. And so here we have the 3 bird gods constructing the maze and moving it around, and so it seems like as you look at it, it seems like they each have their task, and so it looks like the swan is like the first one, and it he she it places um, um, places twigs and branches and things like this, as though building a nest almost, right? Like that kind of interwoven structure. The owl is working on placing stones to shore up these things to make the walls.
Yeah.
And the eagle is using its wing and hurling fire from this new sun, and it is burning the stone in place.
That's pretty cool.
So that's the mural most directly across from you. The other one is, the one on the outer wall is blank. The one on the inner wall is also original. And it shows three leaders of the Manish obelisk people reaching some sort of agreement. Sorry, not 3, 4. And you recognize one of the symbols, probably 2 of the symbols on them, and you're like, it is depicting the alliance of the 4 families that are here.
Oh,
that must be what it is, because clearly the guy who's in the foreground and a little larger than the others magically, I shouldn't say magically in this game, offhandedly, should I? It's depicting him, benevolently, and he's, signing this thing, and his is the crest um, of one of the most commonly seen songbird you've seen around here, the most commonly mentioned on a lot of the things where it's the one on both of the constructs you've encountered.
Right.
Both the destroyed one at there's some news for your RPen. There's a destroyed construct at the back end of this huge manor, and there's and you recognize another of the leaders wearing the crest of one of the other birds you've seen. You've seen. Um, but there's plenty of light coming in where you can see most of this stuff. All right. So you round. I'm sorry. Were you going to ask me something?
Well, is it just about if other murals in that room, right? I'll see
right
on the other side. Yeah.
1, 2. How many have I given you?
There were 4 in the other one.
Oh, that's right. The ceiling we haven't done.
Oh no, sorry. There are 3. Yeah. Yeah.
There's right.
Ceiling mural. Yeah.
Okay. Can I get my dice to cooperate? They keep rolling on basically nothing. So the ceiling here is just done as a beautiful night sky. So nothing culturally significant that you recognize. It's not depicting an event, I guess, is the bigger point, neither religious nor historical. So you round the corner so you could check out the wait, let me see, 1.
No, yeah, that's all of them. I would have. I'm round to the corner already to see the one on the other wall.
Okay.
I cross through. Yeah, I get the north wall. Yeah.
So
then I'll keep heading down. Yeah.
Right. Another library. Oh no, sorry, no, it wouldn't be another library yet. Wait.
Game room was the
right.
the one thing.
Massive room, not double storied or anything. But it has a massive dining table at it. So clearly this is for entertainment, and you can go from dancing to dinner or dinner to dancing. All of the chairs have had their handle posts cut off. Yeah, I don't know if you watched any Downton Abbey. Have you watched any of that?
Like 1 or 2 episodes, yeah. I love the main theme from it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I do it like all the time. But
it's in there they talk, because it's Edwardian times, and they talk about Edwardian custom in there on some of the after shows. And one of the fascinating historical bits about that is that the only reason that chairs had backs was so that servants could move them.
Really?
Edwardian diners did not lean against the back for support. Wow. They never touched the back of the chair throughout the meal.
Wow.
The only reason you have it is that literally the back is a handle to be able to move the chair easily.
Yeah.
And
it's so interesting. Yeah.
I would never have thought about that. So you wonder, like, when did we start slouching?
Right. Right. The other thing is they seem like essential to the structure of the chair, because without that, you just have the 2 posts. They would kind of wave. But
right. I mean, I guess you could have a single post,
or you could even have like just a bar, right? Instead of a back, just have like a narrow piece of wood just to act as. But that's not enough to grab it, right?
Yeah. Right. And to angle it and so on. It's certainly easy to. I mean, it's weird. It's just weird. I love
the cultural things, like they call the cultural iceberg, right? It's like these are these things that you don't notice on the surface, but unless you're like a part of the culture, right, or you've been there a long time, you don't notice it.
Yeah, It's really strange. And but on a similar note, they're different from us in such a fundamental way, right? They use chairs differently.
Yeah.
But then there was this other study I read talking about reclining seats, like, settees and couches and things where
Yeah.
you're meant to recline against them.
Hmm.
They measured them across cultures and across eras. And they found that the most comfortable angle has remained consistent across all of those aspects.
That's funny.
And so I think
Yeah.
so they use furniture they in that sense the same way, right? Yeah, we all like to recline, and the angle has remained consistent across millennia and thousands of miles. And yet Edwardians didn't use the backs of their chairs.
Right.
That's so weird to me.
Very peculiar. Yeah.
Um,
And yeah, that's just again goes into like culture about like you can't really predict, cultural practices and stuff from
yeah,
other things they do because it's it's unexpected.
and it's
Doesn't
not inherently rational.
Yeah.
All right, so you move down.
Mhm.
Um,
So then this would be across from the other library if that's what you were going to
pretty
say.
close. Yeah, pretty close is your guess. And here there is a large room with fireplaces. Um, no real furniture, although there are some tables in there. And there's evidence of previous, like more recent habitation. Yeah, there's kind of a pile of stuff in the corner. The windows here are all broken, whereas they were not in the. None of them were broken in the ballroom. There seemed to be. So it seems like someone stayed here, but only in this room. Because it's like they used it for everything. There's a stack of firewood that's fairly small, but it's there, and I mean it's covered in dust. But whoever it is apparently did not come back because there is small bundles that are clearly meant to be carried, and taken, for travel. And if you're not mistaken, there are small figurines standing up on the hearth.
Huh. Curious. Okay.
Oh Lord, I keep hitting the wrong button here.
We'll keep heading down then and note that as a room I definitely got to visit.
Next room, curtains are drawn. Glass, the windows are unbroken.
Let's move on from there.
And again, it starts back with bedrooms. Although this first bedroom, the bed has not been not salvaged. What's the word? It's not been
I think
pillaged.
you know the word, Kevin.
Ravaged.
Starts with an E and ends with
What, you think it's enchanted?
no. It starts with an E and ends with extricated.
Oh, jeez. I walked into that one.
You really did.
So the bedposts have not been cut off.
Okay.
There are really, they seem to be silver-clad figurines of Elven Goblin Maidens. Goblins are one of the few peoples that it's fine for their women to wear pants. And here, they seem to be farm women, farm girls, really. One like carrying a small sheaf of wheat. Yeah. One maybe gathering berries in a basket. And it's hard to tell how well they're done, but maybe you'll do some cutting.
Maybe we'll see.
So
okay, and then we just keep on going and round the corner again.
Although you're not near the corner yet.
Okay,
you're only halfway down.
Keep on exploring all the bedrooms.
Yeah. So the bedrooms, start being hacked to pieces and so on.
Yeah.
And then eventually they lose beds. The bottom corner room seems to be a smaller games room, but it's the games aren't the same here. Instead of single large iron rings, instead it's like they're smaller hoops that they're separated just by a few inches. Maybe slightly bigger than like a saucer sized ring, and then immediately followed by a smaller ring and a smaller ring. So maybe some sort of game of marksmanship to get it through all the rings. Okay. There's a table here that's set into the ground. It's small. It has diagonal lines through it at various places. It's not a game you recognize. That's down here. So I should. And then you come back to around the corner, and there again you have the
doors in the construct.
Well, that's on the far side. That's the other door.
Right.
You're now on what was the right side.
Oh, I see.
And so you make it to that door.
Really wide, yeah.
And it's bashed in. So you're back at sort of, if you will, the back of the manor.
Right.
And at the door, and what it was to you, the far side of the kitchen is where you are now.
Right.
All righty.
Well, and what a nice tour of this whole home. I was going to say it might have go check out that orange glow. Might be a fun kind of thing to do next, and might be a good place to end the stream. We'll do a little bit of intrigue there, and
that sounds fun.
Yeah.
So walk down to the.
This was the hall on the left side, right? down that hall itself.
Yes, what is now to you the far hall. I couldn't get all my doors to work where I could place stuff. That's sad. It's because my doors are meant to be used on interior walls, which are thin. And so my super thick walls for the outer parts,
Oh yeah.
it won't really work on those. The wall is just dominates it. So I got to play around with that and figure that out. So yeah, it's about a third. Yeah, about a third of the way down. Which on this thing is gigantic. I should. What is that length? Oh, wrong button. Again, wrong button. What's the total length of this building? It's got to be gigantic.
Gigantor.
20. Yeah, it's about 2 football fields long. So so you it's going to be dark here and there, but you've got your floating lantern, right?
I do, yeah. Almost forgot I should summon that. Yeah.
So yeah, you light that baby up. Spear and
shield, yeah.
Shield. So you walk in. It's a long hall. There's a hall that shoots off to the right. The halls are 10 feet wide, and where you can see the tile, it is beautiful and high end. But as you get past the leaves, you can see that there's that they've been cracked and scorched in a line in this wandering slow path. And it's about a foot wide where you see the cracking take place. And it's definitively warmer in here than it is outside. A hall shoots off to the right. That no doubt leads down to the kitchen, but there are other rooms and doors down that way. At least some of it's going to be probably storage, maybe peasant quarters.
Yeah.
Of course, the hall that goes the length of the building, you know that the doors on the left as you walk down that hall, most of those are going to be the bedrooms until you begin getting to the libraries, games rooms, and things like that.
Right.
So you just sort of, take your time, head down. The doors to the right, all of them are closed. Some show a number of blows to them, but they're clad in a dark metal, and they worked at one for quite a while, it seems.
Wow.
But for some reason, these are more guarded than were the bedrooms.
Yeah.
So you pass a lot of doors, and then slowly you get down to the door in question. And you're like, hey, how do you burn a metal door? And the answer is, well, you melt some of it first. And so down sort of at the bottom of the door, you get a cross section of the door still attached to the hinges, right?
Oh. Wow.
And so there you see, okay, it's really thick wood clad in, I don't know, a quarter inch of this dark metal.
Wow.
And there are pools of this dark metal on the floor.
Yeah.
And it is really warm in this room.
Ugh.
And you've been quiet. There's not been too much. You made some noise early on in the leaves, but that was 100, 200 feet ago. you know, um, so you're not really worried. The light hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Oh, but here's a new thing. The floor is gone. Not all of it, but about. Well, I guess you get a ton of information you have to think about as you come in. So first, just looking into the room, the glow is coming from down from below, as indeed you suspected. It is really warm in this room. Looking across, the floor is gone about a third of the way in, and in a ragged way, it's just gone. Across the way is a big set of French doors that lead out to that courtyard, that overgrown courtyard that is the interior of the manor, and where you did see motion at one point
Oh yeah. Okay.
through Laula.
Right.
Those doors are closed. You don't see any motion, but while you think, you're like, you know what? I'm going to swing back around to the hall. I'm going to do my thinking out of sight of those windows.
Sure.
And there, you just swing the door, towards you very quietly. And there's where you see the fact that it's a metal door clad in metal, wooden door, sorry, clad in metal.
Yeah. Okay.
The burning high temperature trail does go straight to this room. Like I said, about a foot wide, and it was hot enough to crack the tiles. What would you like to do?
I will take a few steps into the room and peer down into where the floor has fallen away to.
So you peer down, and there is about a 12-foot long, 15-foot long. I mean, if not for its size and color, it is an earthworm. There's no question. It's segmented. The shape, it is, but it's yellowish orange. And there is no doubt in your mind that that is what's radiating the heat.
Oh my gosh.
It also has, down from what you would call its head, a dark red frill with jagged points around it. And it is basically nuzzling the stone, and you see just the stone just disappear.
Huh.
The hole it has made is a little bigger now than the room. Goes up under the courtyard some, but it's about 15 feet down. And as largely it sort of rests on a coil of itself. It's only it stands about 6 to 7 feet high. It would be you and it would be roughly eye to eye. And so there's a slope going down to where it is now. It knows to leave itself a way out. Although it's hard to imagine anything stopping this thing from getting out. Right? I mean, it would just eat a hole out, right?
Yeah.
Don't say anything, Arpin. But and it's just nuzzling away. And every now and then it'll stop and it'll kind of look around. and you can tell just the light just emanates from its body.
Yeah.
It is hot.
Wow. Well, interesting. Sounds like something we can investigate next time.
Well, yeah, if you think this is a good place to stop, we can certainly stop here.
Yeah, I think that's good. Exciting
So-
place to pick up next time.
So next week, Max and I have decided that is definitely going to be our last one for the year. So our next one will be our last one for the year, and then we will pick back up on January 12th. Will be the inaugural 2022 episode of Karandrin. And we hope you'll join us then. But before that, of course, is next week's episode, and we will see what there is to see about this strange earthworm.
Maybe Brise will die, maybe not.
That's right. We know that Quinn will show up if there's a chance that Brise will die. That's so. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. As always, check out Max's YouTube channel, where he discusses the role of game and original soundtrack, music, and original soundtracks in video games. Thanks as always to Elliot Dunovitz for her amazing character art for Brise. You can find out more stuff about her about www.artstation.com. Tortulua. There you go. And hey, I've written a novel. Who cares? It's fine.
Certainly I have.
Yes, you have. But thank you, everybody. Don't forget to check out Brise's notes if you missed something. Watch any of our earlier streams, subscribe and like, and we will see you next week. Thank you for everything. Max, say goodbye to these lovely people.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, see you next week for our final session of the year.
That's right. It's going to be
a
lot of
fun year for Karandrin, I think.
It has been a good year.
Don't you think, Kevin? Don't you think it's been?
Wait, which way I got to turn? Yeah,
exactly.
Pretty good. I mean, that's pretty awesome. We have done a great job.
This guy, he knows what he's saying. Yeah.
This guy, come on. This guy.
Why is that so fun?
Oh my God. I'm going to go back and just watch that part of us pointing at each other. So, well, thanks again, everybody. Like I said, next week we will be up and running, and we'll see what exciting things happen with that. And like and subscribe and donate if you feel like it. Just final session of the year, Quinn, will be next.
Now, no one's saying the world's going to end, in 2022.
That's right.
It could be final session forever.
So thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you next week.